So I decided to do the thing that I did not imagine that I can do again: study in the morning. I'm not a morning person before, but after several weeks of testing out this study routine in the morning and gaining momentum from learning German, I feel like my perspective has changed. So today I'm going to be sharing it with you. Setting up a morning routine is hard, especially for a not so morning person like me. And I just realized that at the end of the day, I just really want to talk to my family, hang out with my friends. And right now that I have YouTube, it was initially hard because I was trying to study and then edit YouTube videos at night. That switching of task from studying to doing something creative is something that has been really hard for me. Also, my housemates have been waking up early, so I feel like the least path of resistance is to just go with the routine that everybody or most people in the house have. I still have to work, so I realized that it may be easier for me to switch to a morning routine, but the problem with me is that it really takes time for my body and my brain to be awake. So the first step of my routine is to start getting ready and wake myself up. Excuse the mess in my room. It is really how it is in my daily life. So let's wake up and start my day. I brush my teeth, I wash my face. If you can always rinse off with cold water, that will absolutely wake you up. And then I change into my work clothes because after this, I'll be going to work anyway. Just do my skincare. If it's the weekend, I still do the same routine and change my clothes other than what I'm wearing. So after I'm done preparing myself, I make my bed. I'm not that type of person who's like after waking up, just start making their bed. I don't know. I feel like my brain's still not fully awake at that time. And then now this thing will really wake me up. It's just getting something warm and then preparing my study area. I'm definitely not a coffee person and I don't drink tea when I'm not eating anything. So I'm just having like some warm oatmeal with a lot of water. It's weird, but that's how I like it. So I basically open my Forest app, set my timer, and start studying. So what I do is I study grammar first. I'm using this book. It's the C Grammatik. I got it when I went to Germany last April, and I feel like it's really it's really hard. And I just try and answer just one page just because my brain's still not adjusted to it and I haven't gotten that endurance of answering 2 pages. I mean, if I'm going to be studying every day 1 page, then at the end of the year, I'll be probably, I can get a good amount of pages that I've answered. It has this answer key here. As much as I am studying 2 pages before on my Grammatik Active, this time since it's already at the C level, I can just really answer one because there's a lot of new words. I mean, oh my God, this new level, I don't know. It's hard because there's a lot of words that can have different meaning literally and metaphorically. Basically, answering one page would take me around 30 minutes to 1 hour. That part of me writing down the vocabulary and the meaning of it takes so much time. So I'm trying to really give myself grace. I mean, the point is to get something done every day. Although this book is really hard with all the exercises are really good. I still do it first so that I'm done with the hardest part of my study day. And even before, I try to study grammar first before heading on to my workbook. So whenever there's new words that I encounter, what I do now is still write them down. But then I still use this dictionary app that I mentioned from my previous video, and I'll be linking it up here. There's this new feature here that I like using. Before, I would just like search the meaning of the words on the search bar and then go through the meaning and then look at sentence examples. But now there's this new chat feature, I think it's AI, wherein it helps me kind of digest words better. For example, now I'm encountering at C1 level, there's words that have two meanings. One is like the literal meaning and the other one's like the metaphorical meaning. So what I do is I just write it down here. For example, this word durchschauen. And then I'd say on chat with me, I'd just say, give me all meanings and example. I think giving good prompts is important. And there it says durchschauen has a couple of meaning. One is to see through something physically, and there's also a sentence example, and it has translation of each sentence. I think at this level of C1, that's the hardest part for me, really digesting more words, and especially those ones with prefixes in the beginning. It's just really hard and overwhelming. So I don't know. I don't really care if it's gonna take me another year just answering one page at a time. I mean, as long as I do something every day, I'll probably reach the end of the book anyway. So after I'm done answering my grammar book, which I am right now, I'm going to be moving on my workbook, which is Menschenpflege. I use Menschenpflege as my workbook because I will still be needing to take the Fachsprachenprüfung so that I can get my license as a physical therapist in Germany. And as much as I will be taking a language course to prepare me for that, I feel like it's helpful that as early as now I am starting to familiarize myself with the medical terms and the Redemiddel that I can use with my patients. So I got a copy of my workbook from my German teacher in Verbling, and he's always provided me with resources. So that's another reason why I am for really taking online classes, because some of the resources you can just get with them. The other ones I try to just get from Amazon. When I work on my workbook, I try to answer one chapter every day. It will take me around an hour, but if my day's like just really busy, I try to do at least 2 pages. I write all the vocabulary words that I need to learn, or those new words that I encounter, and then I go through all the sections and answer them. You might be thinking that it's quite repetitive because I do write the new words here on the paper, and then when I have time, I transfer that on my Anki. Basically, for me, I remember words when I write them down, so for me, it's not really redundant to do that. And then it's sort of another review when it's time for me to transfer these words on my Anki. I'm still having trouble trying to solidify my strategy in acquiring vocabulary. I'm just thinking that I'm taking this step by step because right now I just feel so happy that I've had a morning routine that worked for me, and it took so long and a lot of pulling myself to just follow through every day. So I still consider it as a great success. Of course, the study routine is not perfect. There are days when I'm really busy and I don't get to nail that 2 hours of studying, which is my goal. So on those days, I just really try to study probably my grammar, and then the following day I'll study my workbook, and then when the schedule kind of gets more tolerable, I get back to studying the grammar book and then workbook on one day. So after I'm done with studying, I head to work and just listen to German podcasts the entire time I'm driving to my patient's house. So basically, that's it. I just really try to make sure I prepare myself first before I try to study, to make sure that I'm fully alert and absorbing what I'm studying. At the same time, I think this routine worked for me because I set myself into having this goal of working on 2 non-negotiables, which is my workbook and my grammar book. And then all the new words that I encounter, I just try to write them down. I like it because if I set or do this studying at the early part of my day, I can get on and focus on work and then relax towards the end of the day, because the bulk of the work, which is what I see as my priority, studying German, is already done. My brain is already alert and not bombarded with different information such as in the social media or emails. I guess what kept me going is that sense of accomplishment, that feel-good feeling that I experience when I'm done answering my workbook and then my grammar book, and then I feel like I can repeat that whole process each morning, especially that I don't get really distracted, and I have this two important things which are my priority already ticked off my list. I'm still trying to build my endurance for studying. I really want to have a total study time of 4 hours each day. I think I've come across just a Reddit post saying that she's been studying 4 hours daily, and that has helped her really propel her language skills. So I really want to try that. And just like you guys, I share my strategies that have worked for me. And to myself, I also apply it. I try out strategies that I find. And if it doesn't work, then I'll try to find something else that could probably work. Also, just a note, I feel like this routine, I guess any morning routine, it won't work unless you fix your sleep schedule. So for me to be able to execute this, especially if I'm waking up early, like 5 or 6, I have to make sure that I have at least 7 hours of sleep. So I really try to sleep early, because I've tried it before when I was just starting to fix my sleeping schedule and I was only getting 5 hours of sleep. The routine was not working at all. So I guess to me, that's the most important thing. Like, really solidify your sleep schedule before you start this morning routine. So I told you guys that I also listen to German podcasts after. That's when my workday starts. I've actually listened to this podcast episode. It's a German podcast called Wissen Weekly, and I'll be linking that on my description box. And it's about language learning. They said that you would learn faster if you are trying to speak in German and at the same time you are studying vocabulary and grammar. So that just means that there's no one foolproof way to acquire a language, especially for us adults, because kids, they learn differently. They just try to acquire it. They also highlighted there on that podcast the importance of using a lot of resources and exercises. You really want to make sure that your skill is sort of flexible in different situations. So I think that's the reason why my priority is to answer something that's grammar and then my workbook, because on the grammar side, of course, that helps me learn about the sentence structure, which will help me eventually to understand what I'm reading. And then on my workbook, that's where I learn the vocabulary side of things. Vocabulary, I feel like, is really important because that will serve as your ammunition when you speak, and as well as actually know what is the idea that's being conveyed when you're speaking with another person. So that's just a quick peek of my morning routine that has been working for me so far. If you find this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more of my study strategies. And feel free to write down on the comment section below if you have your own morning routine in studying German, and I'd be looking forward to reading that because I feel like I can still improve this current morning routine that I have. I'm still in the process of solidifying my late afternoon / evening routine for studying German, but I'll definitely be sharing it with you guys once I've nailed it down. That being said, I'll be seeing y'all next time. Tschüss!